Hey everybody, it's Pete Carmasino here at Chaikin Analytics. This is our Chaikin Power Feed video series. And today, believe it or not, I'm going to be talking about AI. However, I'm going to flip the script a little bit and move into cybersecurity. And the reason why is in the last few days, we talked about both areas, right? AI is obviously booming and really creating a tailwind, not only in semiconductors, but in all industries that are kind of related, right? There's a whole ecosystem around AI, obviously semiconductors, cloud computing, networking, communication equipment, things of that nature that are making all of this possible. And obviously the speed of these technologies have increased specifically in semiconductors, which is one of the reasons why that's such a hot sector. We don't need to talk about that all the time because there's something also happening parallel to this AI situation, and that is cybersecurity. Now, I've talked about this many times in different venues, but the idea is just popping up almost weekly now. Another private healthcare payment processing firm that's underneath United Healthcare's sort of umbrella was just hacked. And what happened is, doctors weren't being paid, folks were being turned down for insurance claims, legitimate insurance claims that they've been maybe doing, using the same insurance company for X amount of years, coming back denied, unable to get medications. And this was all because this particular cyber group was holding the data hostage for ransom. So what I'm saying to you is that obviously AI and the proliferation of it in all of its forms and aspects is growing and growing and growing. There's no doubt about it. And every industry that's sort of supporting it, the picks and shovels in that area are also booming. However, the fact is as more things and more information, more of this is tied online, cybersecurity is able to open doors in different ways now that they weren't able to prior. So here's what's happening. We're going to look at some of the cybersecurity stocks through the cybersecurity lens of an ETF, and the symbol is CIBR. We're going to look at the chart right now and see what's inside. Right. I typically don't look at the articles, but I'm doing this because I'm talking about two different articles here. This one was just recently written on March 11th here. We're in the early innings of an AI boom. Can't disagree at all. Absolutely, fundamentally agree. And that's an excellent read. And again, it's really producing an industry that's really propelling a lot of new purchasing inside the infrastructure to create this system and this ecosystem that makes AI even possible. Of course, it started with ChatGPT, and a lot of other names alongside of it have been doing this for quite some time. But in this article, we talk about a wave of spending that no one saw coming. Now, let's look at the next article, the one that was just put out a few days ago. That takes me to the one that I just picked up here. I wrote this about private companies not paying ransom. This is what's happening, folks. Read about this. These claims are being rejected. It's pretty interesting. Again, the problem isn't isolated to just pharmacies. It was engulfing the entire healthcare system, right? A Florida cancer center couldn't get chemotherapy drugs. Folks, this was not only important, but it's very scary for folks that were involved in this, and no one is immune to it, which brings me to the fact that cybersecurity is now front and center, really the best defense right now that most companies and individuals have. And that takes me here to the First Trust NASDAQ Cybersecurity ETF, all right? The symbol is CIBR. You can see it's a bullish rating, right? We're bullish across the board from a technical rank and all of the power gauge ratings underneath. And what do we have here? I'm actually going to open this one more time. About $5.9 billion of assets under management in this particular fund. Doesn't pay much of a dividend. Has a pretty low beta. I mean, it's obviously above the market's beta, but that's lower than I expected. And that's pretty interesting. You do have to pay an expense to get into this, but that's par for the course on a lot of these sort of thematic ETFs. But I wouldn't let that be a deterrent. Let's look at some of the names inside of here. Checkpoint, right? On a tear for the most of the year. Broadcom, in the semiconductor area, just incredible relative strength on the way up. And the idea of names like Okta coming off of a really choppy session and coming out with incredible blockbuster earnings. If you look at a long-term chart here, you can obviously see that this one has a long way to go to top out where it was during the pandemic years. But again, that's really one way that you can sort of find new ideas, is understand as AI is growing and becoming more and more popular, right? the threat of cyber attacks is growing alongside of it. And this particular area, this sector, this subsector, this theme, whatever you want to call it, is growing in leaps and bounds. And this is an excellent place to look for opportunities. Folks, that's our video series here today for the Chaikin Power Feed. Again, go back and look at those 2 articles, dive in a little bit deeper. I just showed you the title so you can do that yourself. Get in there, take a look. And I'm telling you, right now, at this particular juncture, sort of where we are in this boom of AI, we're in early innings. There's no doubt about it. But we're also, I think, in early innings of cyber attacks being more and more, common, and hearing about this on a daily basis almost. So watch out for that particular sector. It looks hot right now. We'll talk to you real soon. I'm Pete Carmasino. We'll see you next time here on the Chaikin Power Feed.